Hello, Abnormal Family. I've got another story to share with you all, or as I like to call them, encounters. I'll let the other guy tell the stories. Got a pretty good one, guys, but first I want to thank all of y'all for your support in bringing Hunter home. God, it's been crazy. All the gifts y'all have been sending in the P.O. box and the donations. It's all going to fight for him. It's making a big change, and it's making the enemy very mad that you all are helping me. Yeah, it's upsetting them pretty bad. I can't go into it, but they don't like it. I can tell you that for sure. Um, let's go ahead and get into today's encounter, but anybody that would like to help, all the information's in the description of this video. I'm a 28-year-old guy with a family of 4 and a pretty good job. The paranormal has followed me and my immediate family for the better part of 2 decades. I grew up in a house that could rival the Conjuring house, but that's a story for a different time. The first time I experienced this creature, I was taking a hike with my brother and my now wife down some trails behind my house. We were getting tired but decided to go a bit further. That would prove to be a mistake. We made it to this dome-like area that we realized was completely constructed by woven trees. When we stepped inside, my girl said she wouldn't come in. Then I tried to convince her. That's when me and my brother noticed how quiet it really was. I took a look around and I noticed what looked like a hand placed on the trunk of a nearby tree. It looked like what a raccoon hand would look like, only twice the size of what a human hand would look like, with long claws that looked like they could shred metal. I don't know where this courage came from, but I took 2 steps toward it. To this day, I wish I hadn't looked down on me. The most horrific sight I'd ever witnessed. Upside down, as if it were crawling down the tree, was what I can only describe as a werewolf looking me dead in the face. If I were standing up, I'd say it would have at least been 6 foot in length. Its fur, unlike any other Dogman encounters I've heard, was clean, long, and black. Its eyes a fiery amber yellow, almost to a gold, with a stare that burned into my very soul. It pulled its hand back and took a step backwards, back up the tree. And at that moment I was able to move again, and my brother, who was standing right behind me, looked at me in complete disbelief and terror. I told him to calmly walk backwards, back up the trail until we started hearing cracks in the branches and we couldn't handle it anymore, and we booked it out of there. The last time I've seen this creature similar was when me and my brother and his girlfriend were riding on a back road late at night smoking. And I know what you're thinking, but my brother's girlfriend doesn't even smoke, and I was completely sober during the whole thing, and even she can't explain it. As we turned onto the gravel path, things were deeply quiet. No more than 30 seconds later, something the size of a grizzly bear ran across the road at a breakneck speed. We saw it stop on the other side of the road, so we stopped to check it out, being in the safety of our car and all. What we saw would be burned into our brains for the rest of our lives also. At first, we thought we hit it because its limbs were turning and popping as if bones were breaking. It wasn't until I saw what appeared to be a red patchy fur over the top of a human-looking skin. I gasped. It looked directly at us, ears perked up like a German shepherd's eyes, glowing a fiery orange with no source of light for shine except for the sides of our headlights. We were only 20 feet from this thing, and I saw its mouth open, baring its teeth, with drool dripping from its mouth. At this point, I broke from my trance and screamed at my brother to floor it. He was just stuck staring at this thing. Right as I thought it would come to try to take us out of the car for its first meal of the night, my screams finally got through to my brother, and he gunned the vehicle. I don't think it followed us, but I couldn't stop myself from looking out the rearview mirror the rest of the way home. We discussed what it could have been, a dogman, a werewolf, a skinwalker, maybe. We couldn't really come to a conclusion. All we knew is that what it was, it radiated a malice of intent. Sorry for the long story, Mike, but this is something that I thought was very important to get out. Don't stop on the sides of the roads to check out things. Keep traveling, or you might just see something you'll never forget. I agree. Part of your story really made me start thinking, because I know at my granny's house the hand that reached inside of the bathroom window was also described as an oversized possum's hand with claws. So that really caught my attention. And I know you and my granny never talked, so I know that you all had to see something very similar. That's really interesting. I'll actually make a note of that. Another thing is it being in the trees. I believe these things do use the trees a lot. I believe they're very comfortable in the trees, and a lot of times that might be why you hear things and don't see them, is we need to remember we also need to be looking up, as I believe they do stay up into the trees. And I think they're very comfortable in the trees, as we've seen them in the trees at my granny's. They would climb the trees to look in the windows and just sit in the forks of the trees and stare through the windows, watching us in the summer while our windows were up, and probably listening to our conversation, which is how they were probably able to say our names and stuff. Very good encounter. This comes out of Georgia, guys. I'm glad he sent it in. I appreciate that. I hope you all enjoyed this encounter. Me and Sarah are working on a boots on the ground as we speak, and we're also trying to come up with a plan to catch whatever yelled at me the other night. We are going to work on that really hard, and that will be coming up very soon too. So thank you, each and every one of you guys, and until next time, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you on the next one.